Good morning, students. I welcome you all for the C programming class. I think this is the second class which I am conducting. So, in our last class, we have seen several topics such as what is an algorithm, flowcharts, and I had just given you the introduction of some of the C programming techniques like problem solving techniques. Before starting the new session, I would like to revise the topics which I had been discussed earlier. So, I told you why we need a program. Program is nothing but a set of instruction which is written in a step by step manner. It is an instruction given to the program, or it is an instruction given to the system, which is nothing but a machine. Now, to write an instruction or a program, we need several procedures. What is a procedure? Here we are going to use some high level language. So there are three languages actually. The languages are high level, middle level, and low level. High level language can be understood by the human beings. Middle level is just a partial part of a program where users can understand 50%, system can understand 50%. Means partial in both the end they can understand. Low level, only the machine can understand, it has got only zeros and ones. So understanding zeros and ones is a very difficult task for the users. Users are nothing but it is us, we the human beings. So in order to design a program, we need some of the other softwares also. So software is distinguished into two types. One is system software, another is application software. System software is used by the programmers or the users. In a general way, all the general multi-purpose usage is done through application programs. That is why we say apps in Android or smartphones. And in system software, actually it is just working as a backbone for the application software. So when it is working as a backbone, so user is not directly using the system software. Why I am telling you the purpose of system software is, when we write a high level language, that need to be converted to low level language. It is like, if you don't know the language in some area of in a world, if you go to some other place, if you don't know the language, you are going to make assistance. Means you are going to have a support for you. The person is called as translator. Whatever you speak in your language, that person is converting the things into his language where the other people can understand. So the communication will be much more efficient. So the translator translate your language to their language. In the same way, we know high level language, system know machine level language, that is low level language. So there is a need of translator. Here system software works as a translator. There are multiple purpose of system software. The first one is compiler, interpreter, assembler, loader, and linker. So when we have these specific properties or components of a system software, we use compiler as a main to translate high level language to low level language. So in order to have these kind of sections, before we are going to make a alteration, like we should design, then we should code. So earlier class I had discussed you, right? The thing is, whenever we start with a program, we need to have a steps. The steps are problem definition, problem analysis, design, coding, testing, and maintenance. So there are 6 steps need to be understood before designing any of the program. So problem definition means we are going to define what is a problem is. We are going to understand the clear picture of the problem. After understanding what the problem is, we are going to analyze what could be the solution, what could be the steps where we can go for a solution. So preparing that solution is called as analysis. After analyzing the things, we start designing. So the designing part is just like a model in front of a building, or else a model of a building, any of the sectors you can see in flex banners and all. So that is just a designing purpose. In our programming way, we have a designing phase called as algorithm and as well as flowchart. So today we are going to discuss how that algorithm and flowchart is looks like. So algorithm, I had just given you the definition in a earlier session. Algorithm is a step-by-step procedure to solve a given problem in finite number of steps. So which means algorithm is actually it is not an English word, it is a Latin word. Algo means some calculation, rhythm means in some flow. So calculation is done in a flow, so that is called as algorithm. So it says it is a step-by-step procedure to solve a given problem. So we are going to solve a problem in what way? Step by step way, not in any other way. So the problem must be identified, the solution must be identified in how many steps? It should be in finite number of steps. It should not prolong to multiple steps. It should be having a finite number of steps. Then algorithm is designed to solve a specific problem. So what it says, whenever you write the algorithm, you're writing for one problem. You're not going to write for multiple problems over here. So if you get any other problem, you cannot adopt the algorithm which you have designed earlier. So you need to create the own algorithm in that particular problem, because wide variety of problems which will be arising day by day in a programmer's life. So algorithm is a procedure which is not designed for other specific things. It has been designed for one specific problem. So this cannot be adopted for other things. And writing the algorithm is not so complex. Writing the algorithm is a very simple technique. Understood? So this is the definition given by the algorithm. So algorithm is a step-by-step procedure to solve a given problem in finite number of steps. So that definition you need to highlight. So try to by heart the definition while understanding. Let us see one simple algorithm. Here you can see number of steps. Here I have taken the number of steps as how many. Actually there are 3 steps, but another 2 steps will be added, where always you need to start the algorithm from start and the algorithm will be ended by the end. So here I have skipped those 2 steps, so you need to include at the beginning as well as at the end. So step 1 will be start, step 4 will be end. Sorry, it will be step 5. So step 1 will be start, step 5 will be end. Now what does the procedure of algorithm says? Step 1, you need to take input. So we are designing this particular algorithm in order to get a pass or fail conditions. If we get a grade which is less than 50, it is considered to be fail. If we get a grade which is more than 50, it is considered to be pass. So in this case, I am just taking a design in my own procedure. So you can change the number in any of the cases. If you want, you can take 35, 20, 25, any of the number. In this, I have just taken a value, the number called as 50. So for this, step number 1 is what we need to take the subjects. So here I have considered the total number of subjects as how many? 4 subjects. So for that I have mentioned a variable. Variable is always mentioned in terms of alphabets. So we are taking 4 inputs, M1, M2, M3 and M4. So M denotes here marks. Marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 and marks 4. So this is the input we are going to take for the algorithm. Step number 2 says the grade. How to calculate a grade? So they have taken average. I am not here. They have not taken any percentage. So average will be calculated using M1 plus M2 plus M3 and M4, which means there are totally 4 subjects which need to be divided by 4. Then step number 3 says the grade will be calculated by previous step. So the grade will be having some value. If you keep on assigning some of the values to the all the variables, like 4 variables, so say for an example, m1 is 31, m2 is 34, m3 is 35, m4 is 36. So if you add all the 4 subjects and if you divide it by 4, you will get some value. If that value is less than 50, then the condition says if the value is less than 50, then you need to print the condition. What is the condition? Fail. If the value is more than 50, what is the condition? The condition will be pass. So likewise, just for simple condition purpose, we have just made this algorithm. So this displays whether the student is pass or fail. So this is all about the algorithm. Next, moving towards the flowchart, it is just a continuation part of an algorithm. It says it is a graphical representation of a sequence of operations in an information system or program. So I had just given you the another definition for the flowchart. It says it is a graphical representation which follows step-by-step procedure to solve a given problem. So you need to add a small part to the algorithm that says, so flowchart is also algorithm, but it is being demonstrated, it is being designed in what way? Graphical way, which means graphical representation will be given to the algorithm. Whenever the algorithm is represented through graphical means, it says it is a flowchart. So I'll just read out the statements, what I have written over there. Information system flowcharts show how data flows from source to destination. So program flowcharts show the sequence of instruction in a single program or subroutine. Different symbols are used to draw each type of flowchart. So whenever we design an algorithm through graphical means, there are few notations which will be given. What is that notation? Just like a geometrical shapes. So okay, so geometry, we have circle, we have rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, arrow marks, everything will be included in flowchart also. So each and every step will be denoted by using some of the graphical representation. Now based on this, let me just give a flowchart notations over here. See, there are certain flowchart notations which you need to understand and you need to remember very well. So in all the exams, they will be keep on asking you what are the notations. See, we have the first one called as oval. This oval symbol always represents what? Beginning or end of a program. So in algorithm chapter, in algorithm topic, I have just told you step 1 start, step 5 end. I just told you that word, but here I cannot write in stepwise. We need to mention through what? Step 1 with a oval symbol, last step with also with a oval symbol. Then if you want to give any inputs, so you need to mention what? Parallelogram. And if you want to process some of the functions, so you need to use rectangle. If you want any condition, in a previous example we have just understood that grade is less than 50, grade is greater than 50, those things we have just mentioned. So that will be taken in a rhombus, that is diamond shape. So if you have any output which need to be hybrided, so that will be shown in a fifth, that is notation. So the last notation is line, so direction, how the flowchart is flowing. So these are all the major 6 notations you need to remember in our flowchart design. So let us see one example how the flowchart will be designed. See an example of addition of two numbers. See, left hand side I have written an algorithm, right hand side I have written a flowchart. First let us understand how the algorithm which has been designed. So step 1 says input, how many inputs they have taken? A, B and C. So there are 3 inputs which they have taken. So A and B is added together, that is A plus B. The value of A plus B is assigned to what? C variable. So whatever the variable value which does the A plus B holds, what does the process which does, everything will be stored onto the C as a variable, and that variable value is written in step number 3. The same thing is done in a flowchart in right hand side. So first the oval shape says start. Next, input is taken as what? A, B and C. So C is calculated just like a algorithm, similar way A plus B is processed and it is been assigned to C. Then we are going to write means printing on the screen. So we are going to print what? C variable. So suppose A I am taking as 10, B I am taking as 20, 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 is stored in which variable? C. So we are going to print what? 30 by using C variable. At last what we are doing? We are just stopping the flowchart. Let us see another example of flowchart. Here I am just using some conditions because to introduce some of the notations. So I am just taking another example over here. So in the same way we have start, we have parallelogram for input. So how many inputs we are taking? Value 1 and value 2. Now there is a diamond shape, that is a rhombus symbol. We have one condition. You can use if or you can use is. Both the grammatically both are correct. So is value 1 is greater than value 2. They say, let us take an example, value 1 as 10, value 2 as 20. So value 1 is 10 is greater than 20, whether the condition is true or false. I say yes or no. So we have to say no in this condition. Then which is greater here? This flowchart is a design which is made for largest of two numbers. So value 2 will be the largest, that is been assigned to max. So what will be printed? Whichever the max value we got, that will be printed. So value 2 will be the max value in this example. If you reverse it, if you take value 1 as 20, value 2 as 10, what will be the condition? 20 greater than 10. The condition says yes. Then which will be the max value? Value 1 will be the max value, that will be printed in a right parallelogram. So at last we have a stop. So this is all about the example of flowchart. So in our coming classes, let us learn more and more examples with flowcharts and algorithms. Thank you.